Yeah, you actually do. You have your keys still. You paid for a few nights.
Sick.
Um, so you guys head on upstairs to your individual rooms and pass out for the night.
Like, pretty much, but before Navori sleeps, she holds on to her holy symbol, and she kind of looks up, and she sort of shakes it a little bit, and she's like, eventually, mate, both of us gotta have a talk about some things, yeah? Yeah, alright, I'm gonna sleep.
Dancer, as she does every night, tries to record stuff in a journal and the book of many things, but it's probably the most shitty handwriting that she's going to regret seeing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Do our rooms have mirrors in them?
Excuse me, what was that?
Do our rooms have mirrors in them?
No, they are fairly simple rooms.
Okay.
So, you guys all take your nappy naps, you sleep off whatever you had to sleep off, and morning doesn't come, but you all come to wakefulness. Do you guys just stomp on downstairs?
Yeah.
Sybil's gonna try to wake up before Nagori.
Well, she probably can.
And she's gonna make herself look like Oberon.
Oh god.
And she's just gonna sit on her bed staring expectantly at Navori in the French girl's pose just to give Navori a spook when she wakes up.
Well...
In her own bed, let me clarify.
Yeah. Well, she wakes up and she's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Sybil's like...
She backs up and kind of falls out of bed and like peeks over the side. It's like, what the fuck?
Sybil's like, hello. and then she makes a flower crown and she puts it on her own head.
Oh my god.
Navori squints. She's like, what are you doing? She's trying not to like. She kind of looks around like, I don't know. She looks sort of like when you scare a cat and the cat's looking around for like, you know, other things moving real quickly.
Everything is suspect.
Yeah.
The illusion dissolves and there's just fucking Sybil and she's like, it's pretty good, right? Right? Yeah? It's like the voice down?
You! Navori climbs up over the bed and throws a pillow at Sybil.
Sybil laughs and she throws a pillow at Navori, but then she turns into Navori.
Oh, you want to play that, do ya?
And she
I can
darts
do
out
that
of the
too.
room.
Now Navori is gonna do her mirror image, and there's gonna be 3 of them running
3
around.
Navoris!
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, a few Navoris come downstairs, I guess.
Maria's just like, she sees 2 Navoris come down. She thinks about it for a minute. And she like rubs one eye. And then she puts a hand under her eye patch and rubs that eye too for some reason.
And then a 3rd Navori comes down.
Maria just puts her head on the table.
Clive like sees this and he just kind of pauses for whatever he's probably eating, and he just kind of stares for a bit and he just shrugs and goes back to eating.
Dancer questions if she's really over those cheese sticks, but goes back to eating. Morning.
Morning.
Sybil Nave opens her mouth and closes her mouth, and Sybil's like, morning.
Navori goes and she gets some food and she brings some back for the other Navori and they both start eating it.
Midway halfway through eating, Sybil just kind of goes back to being Sybil and is like, your accent's real hard to do.
Really? No,
I mean,
you know,
maybe, yeah. It's just a
Practice.
nuance, you know?
you know, I don't really think about it that much, but you know, fair. Like that's good. At least you know, can't mistake me for a different me that easily. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. She shoves more shit in her mouth. She's like, so what are we gonna do, Sherry?
That's a good question.
Well, I guess move on to the next one of our jobs, right?
Yeah, so like, wander around the woods, look for that guy.
I could finish my Railcat song to lure him out, you know. Railcat, there are leaves on the ground. I said Railcat. No, it's Railcat. There are leaves all around. I said Railcat. Got your roots in the ground.
I feel like you
said,
might want to chop the lyrics for a bit longer.
No, it can't be longer than that. It's gonna be a whole song.
Several verses.
You know what? Where the Navori just sort of looks around. It's like, where are them other guys that we came with? The edgelord name of their party.
Regulations Edge.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Well, I mean, they had their own job to do.
Yeah.
Are we gonna know when they leave? Like, we gotta go with them, don't we? Or
I suppose we could check at the Adventurers Guild to see where they've been. They're still
yeah,
in town.
because if we're gonna go fucking around in the woods, right, we're gonna have to either come back here where they are or go wherever the fuck. I don't know. Whatever. Time is weird, and I don't know if we can remember the way back. So I want to check with them, see what the fuck they're doing, and then, go fuck off in the woods somewhere. Is that a plan?
I mean,
It's a plan.
It is a plan.
As you guys are speaking, a serving girl wanders over. Well, shouldn't call her a serving girl, serving pixie. A little apron on with a little tray. Way too small to be carrying anything, but, aesthetics, I guess. Flits over and says, "The blacksmith said that the one in armor was supposed to come visit today."
Oh, right, yeah, that. Thank you.
Huh.
And where
she
can he
flits
be
away.
found?
Oh, the smithy. It's about 10 minutes up the road. It's hard to miss. It's a big horseshoe shape with a lot of smoke coming out of it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives the pixie a silver for her trouble.
Okay, the silver's about as big as her.
Yeah.
So
puts
she
it-
like wraps her body around it and thank you.
She hopes there's some kind of service to make that pixie size.
Unify the money.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wonder how it works in the Feywild.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Using place.
Okay, so where are you guys going?
I mean,
Well-
that's the blacksmith, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you all head outside, and it's still like that twilight. It is safe to assume it's just gonna stay that way.
Yeah.
And you head off in the direction that you were informed, and eventually you do come upon a horseshoe-shaped building with another little building in the middle, and you see a bunch of black smoke billowing out of the top of the horseshoe. And you head in. There's just a big open, it's not even a door so much as it's just like a gap for you to walk inside of.
Yeah, Cass is going in.
Alright.
Ducking if she has to.
All right, yeah, you have to duck in a little bit. And you see a rather portly satyr standing in front of a big forge. There's no anvil. It's just this big mechanism that looks almost automated. There is heated components that just look like giant bins full of coal that are superheated. There's like a
Wait, is this the guy from last game?
no, this is a different blacksmith.
Oh.
The guy you went to last time was just kind of a shop owner. Yeah, it's standing in front of this large forge that has a mechanical belt system going where there's various things going along the lines. You hear the loud smash of hammers up against molten steel, and you see that it's actually like piston systems coming down. This seems strangely mid-technology. It's less magic, more of science at this point. And the satyr turns around with this big, thick apron on, goggles over his eyes, says, "What can I do for you?"
I'm here for a replacement hammer.
"Oh, you are Van Nestra's... Well, she didn't elaborate, but she told me I was to make a weapon for you. Is that correct?"
Yes.
"Very well. She was not very specific, but I worked with the tools that I had because one does not underestimate the needs of an archfey. Here, come. I hadn't quite fitted the weapon, but I can put the finishing touches on it with you here. Come.
Cass follows.
Okay. He leads you off to a side of the large room. The rest of you guys are smelling burning coal for the most part. It's very loud in here, and Cass, he motions to you. "Do you have a haft that I can see? Or the weapon that is to be replaced?"
She brings out her old warhammer.
"Excellent." He takes it and just snaps off the head.
It's a good thing Cass isn't attached to material objects.
Yeah. And he just chucks it
Sybil
over his
just raises
shoulder.
her finger, like she's gonna say something, and no one's doing anything, so she puts her finger back down.
He chucks it over his shoulder, and there's this loud poof as it hits the ground behind him, and he... well, I'll have to file this down a bit. If you'll give me a moment... And he wanders off to some of the mechanical components, and you see that he holds the haft up to a grinder belt, and he sands the wood until it's nice rounded, and then he looks at it again. He wanders over to another part of the area he's in, where there's a little like woodworking table, and he takes like a big brush and pulls it out of a canister of something and frowns down at the haft and runs the brush over it a few times, and at the end of every swipe the length of wood is a bit shinier. It has a nicer finish on it, and when he seems satisfied with that, he nods a few times and looks back to you, Cass, squints his eyes, looks back at you, and chisels something into the haft that you can't quite see. But it looks like some kind of runic symbol.
Huh.
When they're doing this, like if it's accessible, Navori's gonna go try to find the head of the hammer that got tossed and just like stick it in whenever.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's not hard to find. Yeah, you
You
just
never know when you might need a random ass heavy thing.
yeah, it's basically like a hunk of slag at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
Throw it at someone, lay something down, make a noise, you know.
but yeah, Cass, after he inscribes the runes, he walks over to you and whips out like a not a tape measure, but a measuring tool, and starts like, "Give me your hand, please."
She takes off her gauntlet.
He takes your hand and kind of twists your arm around a little bit and pulls up the measuring tape and nods a few times before wandering off. continuing to make adjustments to the wooden part of the hammer. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes before he seems satisfied with whatever it is he's doing. And then he walks over to the forge and just sticks his hand into the superheated metal that's currently
That's
being
fine.
worked.
That's mildly alarming.
Yeah. And his eyes squint or he's like lifted his goggles a little bit, and you see his eyes squint as he roots around before he nods, pulls his hand out, and it's covered in just soot, completely black up to his shoulder. He backs up and just takes the wooden haft and jams it into where his arm was. And he holds it there and looks kind of bored for a few minutes. Before he jerks the hammer out. And when he does so, it is a larger warhammer than you had before. Not significantly so, but larger. And on the head of the warhammer, you see that there are symbols carved into it. You can't quite make them out right now. He walks back over to you, and he's holding it, and it looks very heavy, but he's just kind of holding it, and he holds it up to you, and I call this Shatter Spike. It is forged using rare fey metals. It is a bit stronger than your average warhammer, but the special part of it is, well, observe. He walks over with the hammer and hefts it in his own hands a little bit, and it looks a little awkward as he holds it. But he walks over to, like, a chair. And, behold, lifts it up and just lightly taps the hammer against the chair. And there is a moment of stillness before the chair just crumbles apart.
Ooh. That's dangerous.
When you hit things with this hammer, if it is an inanimate object and not armor, but still being worn by somebody, or... well, as long as it isn't armor, really, you can just choose to destroy it. Completely.
Holy shit. Nabori just kind of looks at Cass and looks at the hammer and is like, she can get through so many walls with that.
That sounds impressive.
I do recommend being careful with it. And it does not work well against things that are not being worn. I suggest only using it on things that people are holding or using, but if you need to get through a wall or a door, it can do the job.
So wait, you could just like tap someone's clothes and they're gone.
You cannot do it on clothes nor armor. There's a
Okay, so
natural
not clothes.
enchantment on clothing. Makes it very personal.
well, I mean that's probably for the best, honestly.
Yes, it's quite handy that we're unable to target that sort of enchantment. Regardless, it is yours. It is called a Shatter Spike. He holds it out to you, Cass.
You know,
Might be
your
muted.
thing has been flashing, but I
Aha.
Yeah. Hey.
I was muted.
Oh.
Oh, no.
She takes it. She kind of tests its weight.
It is weighted better than your previous Warhammer.
Oh man. She's super stoked. But you can't really.
Give me a second. And here it is. There's your Warhammer. And he nods at you and use it wisely.
Of course.
Take care then, I have other things to get to.
Thanks.
Send my regards to Veronestra.
I will try to avoid speaking to her, but if I do...
Fair enough.
Farewell. And he goes back to observing his mechanical forge.
Yes, heads on now with their new warhammer.
All right.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where we are going to end for this week. It is 10 p.m. So, we will be back in 2 weeks, people, but next weekend we will more than likely be having a one-shot.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Hey.
Hooray.
But yeah. All right. Farewell, Internet.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.